This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Shaun Cole, and welcome to today's edition of the Pit Stop, where you, the pit crew, you are the real star of today's show because you are here to talk about sim racing, and that is the whole point of the show. Happy Monday to everybody. I hope everybody had a good weekend out there. I had a pretty crazy weekend. I'll talk about that very little at the end of the show, and I'm right now still trying to decide if I'm going to talk about my main point today on the show or save it for Friday, perhaps. But what did you do? Did you get out and do some racing? I mean, Dirt Rally 2 came out this weekend, or I guess I should say the end of last week. Were you guys out there? I saw a lot of my friends out there rallying up, getting some good time in. And I think overall, most people are enjoying the game. But it has its flaws, which we've talked about, and we'll talk about more, I'm sure. But are you guys out there? Are you playing it? Do you have strong or weak opinions on it? Did you do any other driving or racing? Did you watch any racing, and did that influence what you drove maybe Sunday night, perhaps? You never know. I did an endurance race on Saturday. I did some Wreckfest on Sunday. I did some VR. I did some editing. Did a bunch of crazy stuff. Had a good weekend, I gotta say. And I want to thank Michael Clark right out of the gate before we even got the show going. Already coming in with a $10 donation. Wonderful way to get March going. And John Cheel bought Wreckfest. You're gonna have to come out and play with us. We do play a lot of Wreckfest. Spontaneously a lot more than you see on the show. Because we will play, like last night, we just kind of spontaneously got a game going. So, what is going on in sim racing? Well, right now, perhaps the biggest story, the biggest piece of news is that ACC release number 6 is now out. So this was the one we saw a car change, and instead of what we expected to get, we were given the dual GTR and Nismo model cars, and along with that, Autodromo Monza. So they have a release video that has come out. They're talking about it, their Facebook and their Twitter page. And I just kind of wanted to check back in. There's a shot of that's our thumbnail of the day, the GTR inside the big Merc there. Spatial's loving Dirt Rally. Yeah, I saw you playing a lot, Tim. Cranky says it's overall. Shame about the force feedback. A lot of people complaining about the force feedback. That is the biggest. If we were to name the biggest flaw in Dirt Rally 2, it's got to be the force feedback. I've seen and heard more complaints about that than anything else, period. And Grant Henderson, Hendo, watching the show at 39,000 feet. That is a new world record. The Sim Pit, not only are we worldwide, but we are 39,000 feet as well. Very cool. Very cool to hear that. So anyway, good stuff coming out of Assetto Corsa. Also, I just kind of want to check in with their roadmap or their timeline. You know, so Release 5, which came out back in January, was the last time you're going to see it at $44.99, or the last price jump we were going to see. Don't know what they're going to charge for the full game. Is it going to jump up to $59.99 for a period of time? Don't recall if they had a release pricing, but what we didn't get was the Milfray Jaguar G3. Instead, we got the Nismo GTR, which is scheduled for release 6. Wait, I'm confused. I've confused myself now. Anyway, but the release 6 is the one that came out with the Nismo GTR. I take that back about the Jaguar. That was the release 5. And Monza. But we are getting pretty close. This is the last thing we're going to see before the full version of Assetto Corsa Competizione. So for those who have tried it, my big question to you is, what do they need to do between now and the final release? What is that going to take for you to tell your best friend you got to buy it now? How are you going to change or influence people who've been like, nah, not yet, purely with what they can do between release 6 and the full game of the release, full release of the game. Force feedback is a glaring issue. A lot of you guys still talking Dirt Rally 2, magnetic trees. Jamie, isn't that a dynamic of rally racing in general? Yes, a lot of those cars are real life cars. Hey, Funny Sim Gamer, how you doing? Hey, Brandon, William, how you all doing? Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being part of the show and making it so much fun to talk about sim racing each and every day. Be sure to tell a friend, be sure to thumbs up the show, and be sure to subscribe so you get notice of other shows that we have going on. Lots going on at the Simpit. This photo I thought was just kind of cool. We talked a lot about Dirt Rally, and here's a whole picture of the whole Codemasters group behind the game. And what's cool about this picture is they're saying, well, what a week. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for all your support and feedback. And I think overwhelmingly they've gotten positive feedback, minus the force feedback being the glaring issue and perhaps the magnetic trees. This is only the beginning for Dirt Rally 2.0, and we're already working on the next updates. We hope you love what's in store. So a little thank you from the Dirt Rally team at Codemasters, which is very cool of them. Not much feedback. Yeah, a lot of you guys, it's good to see so many of you guys playing it. I mean, you know, you want to have an impact on our industry. You know, we don't have a lot of companies making stuff for us. It's like, to an extent, and I hate to just give a blind endorsement, but to an extent, I almost feel like we have to endorse some of these companies just so they can keep working on it and hopefully listening to us and doing things. Brandon mentioning ACC still needs to optimize performance. Agreed. So, a lot of work to do by the Assetto Corsa guys. Race Room had their ADAC GT Masters, so we had the event list here, and I never know whether I want to play the spoiler or not. You know, here's our entry list. Jack Keatley and Nikodem Wisniewski being the two Williamsport eSport drivers sitting on the top spots. Benzie Banky in third. Again, look at this who's who. Florian Haas, Martin Stefanko, Gergo Baldi, David Nagy, Kuba Brzezinski. Wow, look at the names in this competition here are just insane. Renee Kirchhoff. You guys, this one was worth watching. And so there's the video. Gosh, I don't want to... If I pull the screen up right here, it's on their site. You can see the whole race that went on. This is the second race of the ADAC GT Masters Esport Championship at Autodromo Most, the new track and race room. So not a lot of drivers being able to get ahead of the curve on this one. It is very, very relatively new to the sim. Anyway, you can check out that replay, and I'm just going to say my buddy won. And those who know the show, watch the show often. You would know who I'm talking about. That was the full screen version that I wasn't going to play. I'm not going to play spoiler. You want to find out, you go watch that video. Go scroll to the end if you want to find out. Watch the racing and support the guys running in that ADAC GT Masters. ADAC, I should be calling it. What else do we have? Just kind of checking in with you guys a little more than normal on a Monday. Just feeling the good vibe between me and you guys talking sim racing. Love that you guys have so many thoughts on Assetto Corsa, Competizione, and on Dirt Rally 2 as well. What's coming in iRacing Season 2? You know, we know what's not coming in iRacing Season 2. That's more known. Like, we're not going to see the AI that we were hoping for and a few other things. But this could be a cleanup build with so many things last season. With us getting day to night, here's my prediction. With last season seeing day to night transitions and what impact that could have had on things like tire model and handling across the board, it probably took them 12 weeks, a full season, to get really good feedback from people to make adjustments. So my guess is the good majority of this build is cleanup work, I hate to say, but that's actually good. We're talking about Dirt Rally 2. What do they need? They need to do a little cleanup work. They need to work on that force feedback specifically, and that could be a game changer right there. Forza on the first release there. This was on Friday. We didn't cover it, but they're a week in review. So if you're a Forza head, you want to just know what's going on. They do a very good job. I'll give Forza credit, and every sim could take inspiration from them by, you know, I wish my favorite sim, and you know, did this on a weekly basis to know, so I could be informed on what's going on, what's cool, what's fun. I'm always asking you guys, what are you racing? What's fun? What's cool? You know, Forza does a really good job of letting you know what's going on. We talk about Sim Pizza on the show all the time. Sim Pizza, the best Sims. You know, things, categories we didn't get into, and maybe we need to turn it from a 16 slice pie to like a 32 or 64 slice pie, because, you know, working with your community now, community events, these are the modern requirements. These are the things that we want. Oh yeah, the BMW M8. How could I forget about that? That's certainly not just cleanup work. The BMW M8 is going to change things up in the GTE class on iRacing. You're going to see a lot of guys buying new content to get on the latest, greatest flavor. So that will be my team, for example, which we'll talk about a little more at the end. But my team in particular, we have a decision to make. Are we going to stick with the Ferrari, or are we going to jump ship and consider something like the BMW M8, the first front-engine rear-wheel drive car in the GTE class? And traditionally, I mean, for a lot of people, I think the front-engine rear-wheel drive is a very comfortable car to drive, very predictable car to drive, and a lot of fun. But it could scorch those rear tires. You never know. So maybe, Amir, we're going to have a team vote. That's for sure. We're going to have to talk about it, for sure. But anyway, I do mention it from time to time, just the Forza people can know. They have streams going on every day of the week. They've got their superstars of Forza doing stuff and doing a great job of keeping the community going. And you look at this and you compare it to something like iRacing, where we're talking about, where it is the polar opposite. I mean, this weekend, you had one of the biggest events of the year going on, the Sebring 12-hour, and, you know, you can't even find the news of that on the iRacing Twitter or any of their media pages. It's like, here's one of their biggest events. They don't even talk about it. Meanwhile, polar opposite, Forza is talking about every single little thing going on, every stream, all the cast of characters, all the updates on a weekly basis. Sim Pizza, Forza kicks iRacing's butt in that department. FIA Gran Turismo Championship Exhibition Series results are in, so this is what's going on over at Gran Turismo with the GT Sport. Not quite getting the love and attention of others, but they're not putting as much into it, so I think their market share right now is fair on the esports scene for what they're putting in compared to others. But Canada wins the whole thing with Def Sun 96 and 11,476 points. U.S. Turismo Windfire in second. Car Lamb in third. And that was in the Nations Cup. Manufacturer Series, BMW TRC Stagger in the lead. Lexus Def Sun 96. Look at that, from Canada in second there. So he's the dominant force there. Car Lamb, who took third in the Nations Cup, took third also in the Alfa Romeo on the manufacturer. So look out for those names in the future. Those might be some of the names. And I think I saw a new Simpit car. And yeah, the next big event is the 24 Hours of Green Hell. You know, I've been having real problem with Restream. When I changed my computers out and I got Restream again, which is what handles my chat, it just started really, it was different looking, which I never liked the new look. I liked the old look, and it was acting very different. I'm going to have to look into that. If my chat's not working properly. Right now, a lot of what we're doing is trying to accommodate Twitch, and I'm not sure if that's about worth it or not. But yeah, the Green Hell Nordschleife, it's actually the GP track combined with Nordschleife, will be the next big event, and I normally want to slow our team down so we don't peak too soon, but that track being so long might take a little extra time. We talked about the draft and the NASCAR heat, and anyway, here's the draft order for the Xbox. Ganassi getting first pick, LFR second, JR Motorsports in third. This is the fan. This is the way you guys voted, apparently. Wood Brothers getting first. This is the PS4. So you're going to have both the PS4 and the Xbox draft. Top 14 picks, there they are. Very cool. Also, right now they are having a contest survey. Another survey, just grabbing your information, but this is the Motorsport Network. That's the group behind the whole esport thing, if I'm not mistaken, just like Cody's is using that same group, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, they want to know your age, your gender, how you play, Do you own it? Blah, 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 blah. Here's the length of the survey just to give you an idea what the kind of info. But in this one, they are citing that they're trying to help us build the best NASCAR games ever. So a little more than just trying to get your information, just trying to get some opinion as well so that hopefully they can design a better NASCAR. That's their wording, not mine. All right, what else? Come on, Motorsport. Come on, Motorsport. There we go. Motorsport talking about NASCAR 704 games, that being Heat, and the Race Team Alliance announced a live fan event to be held at ISM Raceway for this first ever eNASCAR Pro League draft. So that is an article at Motorsport talking about everything that we're talking about here. So Sunday, March 10th, the draft will take place in Gatorade Victory Lane with the newly designed infield at ISM. And a fan vote on social media was held on votes which tabulated. Chip Ganassi Racing will get the first pick in the draft, which is scheduled to begin at 8:45 a.m. So this sounds like a little bit, we'll have to see how this plays out. We kind of talked about the lack of something, that je ne sais quoi missing from the iRacing eNASCAR draft. Maybe this one's going to be a bigger deal. They're at least doing it on location, doing it from Gatorade Victory Lane, next week's NASCAR race. So they're going to have fans there. It should be kind of big. It should be a big deal. We'll have to tune in and see how it plays out and if it's entertaining. Dream rigs. Anyone got an extra 12 grand burning a hole in their pocket? For 12 grand, this is actually quite a rig. That is a true gigantic, not quite Cruden size, but bigger than anything other than a Cruden I've ever seen. They're calling it a 9D VR racing game machine. Real feeling, 3 screens, 6 degrees of freedom, car simulator, F1 super racing driving simulator. Only 12 grand? Am I reading that wrong? Is that like a different form of currency? Which currency are we talking about here? Their wording makes me think simulador. Makes me think that might not be 12,000 US. But if you want a sim of the pros, there you go. There you go. Contact these guys on Alibaba, the ever-trusted source. And to give you an idea, the power of a 6 degree of freedom sim with these giant actuators. To give you an idea, those actuators here that you're looking at, that is about a Cruden size, if that's not a Cruden. I'd have to look more detailed. I don't think that's actually a Cruden, but that is a pretty good copycat of a Cruden 6 degree of freedom sim. But this sucker here is holding the whole car up in the air. Oh, wow. And look at that. Oh, my God. That's sketchy. Look at the car. It's like just bolted like it's on a tow truck, like just strapped down. That is sketchy. This is actually, you can see that's a movie rig. They're actually filming this for Fast 8. This is how they do some of the driving scenes now. They actually use the same kind of technology that we use, a 6 degree of freedom rig, and then put the whole car up on top of it and film away. And that, I don't know. Probably looks a lot better than you think back in time. Anybody who's my age knows that originally when they were filming car footage, it was so blatantly a car being towed behind another car. And the camera is just sitting in the back of the lead car truck looking backward, because you could just tell the car wasn't actually like doing much. A lot of times you even think it was just up on a trailer. So what else do we have? A few more topics to talk about. Not so sim racing related now, just getting into some of the sim racing overlap news. But here we're talking about Bowman says Hendrick needs to improve before sims can be useful. So this is a sim racer. You think about Hendrick Motorsports and Alex Bowman and William Byron, both hardcore sim racers, but simulators were being underutilized at Hendrick, and the reason they're claiming they didn't is because they are so off on their car setup that they didn't even know what to do with the simulators, and literally some of the best sim racers on earth never even saw a simulator to prepare for the team, but hopefully that's something they'll work on in the future. Walt Disney World has a new ride presented by Chevrolet called Test Track. Not really sim racing related, but supposedly you go and you start off by kind of working their design phase, and you kind of design your own car, and you do this whole interactive bit. And I hope that wasn't too loud. Did I just screw up my screen by going full screen like that? I didn't even get to see. But anyway, and then you actually get to go out on, oh, I did it again. Go out on Test Track and drive the very car. So this is in conjunction with GM and Disney, and you could do this at Disney World. Not really sim race. I keep doing that, damn it. I'm trying to just hit pause. Alright, it's silenced. It's shushed, so we can continue on. Anyway, I thought that was kind of funny. You suck at racing. Talking about esport racing, Dirt Rally 2.0. And not just to beat up on things, but he's just talking about how Dirt Rally 2.0 was mediocre at best in his opinion. Force feedback is a lot of what he went on to talk about. But he also goes on to just talk about how PC racing right now is just so weak sauce. Our market share of the sim racing world is pathetic. And so and don't quote these numbers, but it's probably good relative numbers, showing you how many streamers are currently working with iRacing, Project Cars, Assetto, Corsa, Race Room Experience, Automobilista, R Factor 2. Here we are thinking that every single day there's another streamer on the, on the list of streamers showing things. You guys just mentioned Ray Alfala now on Twitch showing off oval stuff. I saw that the other day. But there is a real deficiency when you look at our titles and the market share of the right now, you could even say the esport, but I think they're going to all eat their words on the esport. I've predicted, I've always said that sim racing is somewhere about 5% of the overall gaming market, sim racing across the board. And I think on the esport scene, we're going to see that jump up to 10, 15, 20% of the market share even. So, yeah, Devin, these numbers are kind of weird and skewed. But he does go on to say something else that I've said in the past as well. But you compare that to like a Grand Theft Auto 5, which is just going to have, 3 extra a comma and 3 more zeros. But then he goes on to talk about Dirt Rally and how he just never got comfortable. And as he puts it, as sequels go, this is as bad as the Phantom Menace. Ooh, that's a shots fired. Where is my shots fired? Those aren't my shots fired, though. Team VV talking about it. Also talking about is Microsoft. Oh, not now. Give me my page back. Is Forza Street Microsoft's new mobile racing game? So I saw this all over the news, all over the weekend, on every feed I have, on my phone, on my computers. Forza Street is what it's going to be called, apparently. And this is going to be a mobile platformed version of Forza. So we are about to see Microsoft get into the action with Forza on a, on a cell phone. You're going to be playing it like this. Let's hope and pray that nobody out there asks for cross-platform compatibility to what we already know. Who cares? I don't care if it has cross-platform to like Apple phones and Samsung phones. But please do not ever, 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 ever tell me that they're going to make the mobile version compatible with the regular PC and Xbox version. Yeah, the guy is kind of an idiot. Yes, indeed. But it was the first negative review I've seen out there for Dirt Rally, actually, to be honest with you. Phantom Menace is a prequel. Yeah, I wasn't sure if all of that... the mirrors all, yeah, well, yeah, and look at Jimmy Broadband's numbers. It blows away that whole guy. That's more than that. And how 4,000 people watch Jimmy stream, I will never quite understand. If someone ever has an explanation for that, you please tell me. New Lamborghini model coming to Asphalt 9. And I don't mean to take anything away from Jimmy Broadbent, by the way, with that comment. It's just, wow, that's a lot of people. 4,000 people. I'm lucky to get 50, 60 people. I guess my question is, how the hell is that skewed? Asphalt 9 legends talking about Automobilista Lamborghini are crossing over the Huracan Evo Spider into car Asphalt 9 legends. Anyway, I'm going to give a big whoop-de-doo on that one. Asphalt 9, I'm not very optimistic, but they're getting Lamborghini. Motorsport Manager, this one I'll tell you about because I like Motorsport Manager. I don't get to play. There are a couple versions. To me, it's having like that diversion game, something where you don't have time to sim or you're going to do something like in the bathroom at work. I don't know how you're going to play, or on an airplane, Hendo. Motorsport Manager is now available for the Nintendo Switch, or will be on March 14th. So that could be good news for the Switch owners. I know I have a few friends who own the Switch. Car Mechanic Simulator for the Nintendo Switch. They say this sucks. This is like a port of a bad version, like the mobile version, not the PC version, and they weren't too favorable for that one. That's different than Wrench, by the way. There are two different. There's Car Mechanic Simulator and there's Wrench, and you could even say there's My Summer Car as well. Let's see, what else here? What else here? You played on your phone. See, that's a perfect, yeah, Amir, that's a perfect place for that. Wow, my thing is lagging today. I did set this up quite a while ago. Don't know what's going on. What was this one? This was Xenon Racer, which if we don't get this story, I'm not going to be too heartbroken. Nope, it's not going to happen. Forget it. Xenon Racer. Open beta launches on Steam was the story. I mentioned this on Friday, but I want to throw another congratulations to Michael Goodman. He won that wild all-star event. That was a very fun event with the Lionheart Racing Series. I ran that last Wednesday night, and that was me getting back into an IndyCar after a very, very long time away from that discipline. And in about a week and a half, I will have that season kicking off for me. But Michael Goodman won with a last lap pass when the leader and then finished in second place, Justin Weaver, ran out of gas. So congratulations, Michael Goodman, on budgeting fuel and hanging in there. It was a tough race. It was a crazy, crazy wild race. And the last Tech Trends has a virtual reality Pulse has a Tech Trends article saying you're taking me for a ride, and they're showing off an augmented reality helmet for motorcycling. And this could be a real benefit in the real world of driving. You think heads-up displays are not new. Augmented reality, you know, Corvette had a heads-up display on the Corvette back in the 80s, I think, even. And, you know, it's not a new tech. It's not a new idea. But the new versions of a much more active augmented reality could be coming to us. And that would be very cool. Can you imagine if you had, like, your cell phone and, you know, your MapQuest and all your things built into your helmet, and you could look down at your left lower screen and, you know, take a phone call or double check your Google Maps, get your voice activation integrated into it and be able to bring things up while riding. Be very cool in a car as well, using the front glass. Sim racing, I'm still telling you, you know, we already have AR if you think about it. Augmented reality, what do you call those fancy overlay screens we get to use? Little RPM meters, relative screens, things like that. Anytime you're bringing another thing up on your screen and it isn't in real life, you got to almost consider that augmented reality. You're getting a hovering display. It's not so much hovering, but Xenon Racer is a waste. Controls are terrible. Pass for now. Cranky, when I saw that, let's see if it came back up. Nope, it's still dead, and that's maybe how we feel about that one. So that is going to do it for the news, but just think, augmented reality, I don't think it has much of a place in sim racing. We do need the virtual reality with augmented reality thrown in over it. But that's where we are in the world. You know, we're seeing, I talk about it, we talked about it on the show. You got autonomous vehicles that are needing to learn AI behavior, and they're going to use and steal from us, and we're going to start to be able to cross-blend that data, that information, that tech, and we're going to help them, and they're going to help us. You look at VR and AR and the same sort of thing. We're going to help them. They're going to help us. It's all going to be yin and yang. We got a lot of yin and yang to go right now. You know, our computers are stout. Our computers rock. The hardware that we have in general rocks. The software needs to get up to speed because the hardware's here and there's more for us to build even, but the software guys are still a little behind. We're still waiting on some maybe like common, like one way to do it, you know, like as long as there's a million different ways to do it, it's going to be just kind of crazy. Just what motorcycles need. Cell phone calls, facepalm. Yeah, but you got to figure if they're putting AR in the helmet, what would you put? You know, you're going to want a map. You're going to want your display of bike information if you can get that integrated. It means my bike's now going to need to be Bluetooth, or I'm going to have to be plugged in. But you know damn well in today's tech, the minute they do any of that, why not put your cell phone? And I say why not. It's a terrible idea, but you know damn well it's going to happen. Unless laws step in front of such a thing, but I don't see it going that way. Yeah, they could be playing Forza Mobile on their heads-up display while riding a motorcycle. That's That's a certain death. Anyway, what else do I have to talk about? The only thing I have to talk about, Brandon, you're here in the chat. Maybe you tell me. I'm just going to say what I'm going to say. Maybe we're going to come back to this topic on Friday. But on Saturday was the 12 hours of Sebring on iRacing. Let's give iRacing credit where credit is due. This time everything went off without a hitch. There was no warping, no weirdness. Nobody even mentioned anything bad about any of the conditions. Everything worked flawlessly. We saw a 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. race. It's finished at night. We saw a drastic change in weather. Peak temperature I saw was 104 at about 2 in the afternoon. And then I saw it drop all the way down into the 70s, I believe, before the finish of the race. I want to congratulate Team Black, David Gruntle, Mitchie Hoyer, Tom Dudek, Michael Reutman, and myself. I also want to congratulate Team Red, and I'll tell you results real quick and tell you my experience very, very quickly. Maybe we'll come back to this on Friday. Stan Don and Dan Clark, Moses Choi, James Dalling, and Brandon Waters on Team Red. Both teams had to really fight through adversity. So both teams ran into early trouble. And what I love, and I'm just going to tell you guys, I really mean this. One thing you're going to learn, you do endurance racing, you're going to learn about yourself. Because there are teams who take on damage and look for the exit door. They're looking to pack it up on the trailer and call it a day. They think, we're not a contender. Screw it. It's a waste of time and energy. There was no quit in our team. We had 10 drivers. No quit from not one guy on either team was looking for the exit door. It was better than that, though. Both teams had to fight through bad damage. Both teams had to fight through repairs, lengthy time on pit lane, and both teams continued on to finish the race, which is just a huge, huge accomplishment. And to struggle with a beat-up car for so many hours is brutal, and that's when I say you're going to learn about yourself. Coping with a beat-up car and doing your role, doing your work for your teammates. That's what it's all about. It's a team event. Not letting your teammates down and continuing on and trucking on. Team Black finished in 14th. It was a very, very hard-fought 14th place. We were in contention for somewhere between 13th and 16th, and the last 4 hours of the race were all about strategy and good laps to be able to even finish in 14th. So, job well done. We only finished one spot back where we qualified, so, I mean, you got to call that a good day in general. Team Red finished in 22nd place in an all-GTE room, I do believe. And same thing, had massive damage, had to fight through it, had to just, yes, they showed their character. And I think that Rick Motec, our team sponsor, would be very proud of us for just bringing the car home, maintaining composure, and being the good sportsman-type team that we're all about. We may not be the fastest, but our teams embrace good sportsmanship and good driving etiquette. And neither team, nothing for Team Black ever was our fault. I mean, I know that sounds a little self-righteous there, but we drove a flawless race, and every bit of damage that came our way were the efforts of somebody else just making a mistake on their part. We had some good, hard racing going on, some great driving by our guys, and some amazing consistency. It was a lot of fun. That's the main point. It was a lot of fun, and because it wasn't the best results, the same thing happened as after Daytona. I'm like, already looking at the calendar for next race. What's the next one? When's too soon to get on the track and start getting prepared? And when I thought, it's Nordschleife. Maybe tomorrow isn't too soon. That's a lot of corners. 170 corners. Someone correct my math there. Excuse me. But I just want to thank all of those guys once again. It was a lot of fun. I also want to thank Amir, who, even though Amir didn't race, he and Brandon Waters took over all of the administrative efforts, and it took so much pressure off of me to have guys looking after the team and doing a great job of getting everybody organized. And anyway, that's maybe we'll hear more about it. Maybe Brandon's on the Friday show. Maybe we'll talk to Brandon about his experience. I could go more detail about my drive and how I felt. I had a very mediocre day, so I have some mixed results about personally. Maybe we'll save that for Friday as well. Yes, Cranky Pants asked if we streamed Wreckfest. No, yesterday we actually didn't stream it. We just kept that one private. Sometimes we stream them, sometimes we just do it private. Because that was just sort of thrown together spontaneously inside of our Discord chat, we didn't get a chance to stream it. Thank you, Amir. I really mean it. And thank you, David. I see David's here. David Grunnell, the rock star of our team, really setting some good laps for the team. And I see Stan, our painter, was there on Team Red. He did a great job as well. So a lot of the team guys are here, so if you want to give them a thank you or congratulations, they're there. I also, my stream, I don't know if any of you guys got a chance to see the stream, but I'm always looking for feedback on it. I think it was one of our best quality racing streams ever, and it went 12 hours in length with no flaws, no problems, and I think the only mistake I forgot was when I did my second drive, I forgot to put a delay on my little camera, so it might have been 1 second ahead or behind. But anyway, I'm going too long on this because it's really not sim racing news. Let's save this conversation, or a good portion of it, for Friday's show. If you guys want to hear more about it, you'll of course let us know. And but that's going to do it for this one. Get out there, do some racing. It is week 13 on iRacing, so there's not a lot going. Like, there'll be no Mazda Mondays by Devin. I'm going to do something tonight. Monday Fun Day for me is about not sim racing, or not always sim racing. It's about doing something fun. And believe it or not, I'm going to geek out tonight. I'm going to play Star Trek Bridge, I think they call it, in VR. I believe me and Jesse and Bucho are going to play. This is going to be streamed privately only to the Patreon group. We're not going to make this public, but it might be funny. It might be totally dorky. I have no idea, but we're going to play with that tonight. We are looking for a fourth, so someone else in our patron Discord group is going to have to chime in. If they have VR with hand controllers and they are willing to buy or own Star Trek, we are doing that tonight. It's going to be fun. It'll be private for the patron only. So sorry you all won't get to tune in. It might be fun, but maybe that's a good enough reason to join our patron group. You never know. That's going to do it for today's show. I'll be back Wednesday with more sim racing news. We got reviews coming. We got more racing coming. We're going to have Nordschleife prep coming. And then we're going to have Friday's show, which is going to get a new name this week. This week, we're going to announce the new name. So Friday's show with Billy Strange, Brandon Waters will be a good show, and we will finally have a new name, and then we'll work on a new intro and all the things to finish that one off perfectly. But that officially is going to do it for today. This is the Simpit. I'm Shaun Cole, and I'll see you on the track.